too when I was 15. But it was peer pressure to me that made me do it because I wanted to fit in with what I thought was the in crowd. And the in crowd pretty much was the people that was clicked up. You know, you see them 5, 6 people all together, and you gotta act a certain way to come and talk to them, and you got to be doing certain bad things to come and to sit with them. And, you know, that's what they do to. That's what you have to do to be accepted by these people. And after a while, because I did the right thing, you know what I mean? I was getting straight A's, and even though people told me that you had to stand up for yourself if somebody hit you this and that, I was the one that would, you know what I'm saying, I could turn away from that. But it was like, it was so much opposition that was coming up against me, like, you know what I mean, not like detouring me from doing the right thing. So I was led down the wrong path because I wanted to fit in. And after a while, I got tired of playing by myself because of what they call me a nerd because I got straight A's. And then in classrooms when we have tests, everybody in the class would fail the test, but I would pass. And the teacher would get ready to say, oh, everybody gets to take the test again, everybody gets to take the test again. But then she's like, oh no, hold on. One person passed the test, so we have to grade this on a curve. They'd be like, oh man, oh. So then, you know, they like, to make it even worse, she'd point me out. Lorrenzo, good job, and have me come all up in front of the classroom, and I'm like, hold up, man, don't put me on Front Street like that. And you got kids sitting there, and I'm looking around. After I come back to my seat, they punching their fists like, yeah, we gonna get you. Like what do I do? You know what I mean? But if they put me on the spot like that. So after a while, I started saying, man, like, I'm not seeing this right here is making me lonely, and it's making me depressed doing the right thing because I didn't have nobody lead me and guide me and telling me that it was okay. You know what I mean? And that's why today I work with the youth so that I can be a motivator to them, be an inspiration, and encourage them to continue to do the right thing. Galatians 6:9 tells us not to grow weary in right doing. And this is what I try to instill in the youth, man. It's like, and then also be somebody that they can talk to, because when I was coming up, my parents, I couldn't really talk to them. So that's another reason why I turned to the streets, because the streets would listen. No matter what you had to tell the streets, they would listen. And then they would show you false love. And then at the same time, let me get $20, $30, you know what I mean? And, oh, let's go over here and do this. Let's go over here and do that. And I say, I know that it wasn't right, but I'll be like, oh, they cool. I'm going to go over here and commit this crime with them. I'm going to go over here and sell these drugs with them. Man, I started selling crack at the age of 15 because I didn't come from a wealthy family. It was 5 of us in a 2-bedroom home. And it kind of hurts when our parents go to grocery shopping at Kroger's and they come out with a pair of tennis shoes for everybody. Like, hold up, man. Kroger's don't sell tennis shoes. How you gonna bring some tennis shoes out of Kroger's? And I remember that day so clearly, man, that they went and did that before they did all the shopping, and they brought the shoes back in the car, and they used to leave us in the car when they go shopping. So we in the car, and my brother had got these little pens out, the little quarter machines, and there was American flags, and he put the flags on the tongues of the shoes, and he said, "Look, y'all, my shoes got a name." Like, what? He like, they USA's. I was like, oh man. So, that touched me, like, you know what I mean? It was just going to school, man, wearing that type of stuff. Then, like, it was certain times that I would wear cleats to school because the shoes that they bought at Kroger's didn't last very long. Needless to say, they was plastic, and after you wear them so long, the front of them start ripping. right where the crease is, the front started ripping. And you could slide around in them, and like skates. So I'm like, everything was cool though. When I was going to the north side schools, they didn't say nothing about it. I was still popular. They didn't even, they looked past my dress. You know what I mean? They was kicking it with me because of who I was and my character. So then, at the age of 13, we moved to the west side. And that's where I lost the battle with peer pressure. Because on the north side, I had a little more backup. I had a little more support. Like the teachers would support me, you know what I mean? And I had friends that was about the right thing, you know, and it was easier. So when I moved to the west side, oh man, I'm seeing a whole different world. Like on the north side, when we got into arguments and fights, okay, we throw rocks at each other, but you so far away that it's liable to not to hit you. It might bounce off the ground, and by the time it done got there, you so far away, it's barely gonna just bounce off. I went to a house party on the west side when I was 13, and they started arguing in the party and whatnot. You know, it's drinking and all that, and I'm like, man, I'm just looking, taking it all in, like, whoa, man. And my sister, she was like 9, and she's at the party with us. Like, what in the world? So then, after the party's over, they get to fighting outside. And so one guy, he was fighting it, and another dude jumped in, and somebody tried to break the fight up, and dude pulled a gun out of his coat. He had to slouch down like this to pull it out. And he started shooting in the air. I'm like, oh, Lord, what is that? I didn't know what it was, you know what I mean? Till somebody told me it was a Uzi or a MAC-10. Like, what? All I knew was it was shooting fire out of it. Like, whoa, what is that? You know what I mean? And so when I moved to the west side, it was a whole different lifestyle. So I started going to south, and these kids, they was recognizing my outfits. You know what I mean? They wasn't looking past it. Even especially when you know the same thing was happening with the curves and the tests. Oh, that even made it worse. So there would be times, man, that after the class, I would be walking down the hallway to go to my next class, man, and it'd be like 5 to 10 people walking down the hallway just shooting comments at me. You know what I mean? And I'm doing my best to hold my composure. That how they say the man walks away. I'm doing my best to hold my composure, man. And until one of them just like, you know, they come up and they trip you and all that. And then when I tell the teachers and things, it's like they don't even care. It's like okay, I'm telling you this before it escalates into something different. But needless to say that once the peer pressure got a hold of me, I got my first D. I got straight A's all the way up into high school. And I got my first D. And it was like, I became cool to these people. And I couldn't understand it, man. You know, I grew up on the north side, now I'm on the west side. And it was like, it was people on the west side that was struggling just like we was, but they had other means of making it. And this is where crack came in. I was walking to school one day, and I see the brother that was walking with us, he goes up on somebody's porch. Somebody called him, like we walking to school, and somebody called him. Hey, come here, man, come here. He goes up on the porch. We stand out there and wait on him. He go up on the porch. He goes in the house. He's in there about 3-4 minutes. Comes back out the house, and he's counting money. Like, I'm looking like, yo, man, that's your uncle or something? Who is that? And he like, nah. I'm like, why did he give you that money? And then he opened his hand and he showed me these little pebbles, and I'm like, what is that? And he tell me, man. Then he start telling me the value on them and everything, and I'm like, right then I want him to teach me that. And I'm like, oh man. So then, you know what I mean? I start applying myself to it, and now me, my brother, and my sister, man, we going to school and we wearing nice clothes. I mean, it was the point where, I mean, it ain't like they didn't go school shopping with us, but 5 kids, and my mom was the only one working. My stepdad was getting Social Security. It's like we getting like 1 or 2 outfits apiece. So when Monday, my uncle might wear an outfit. Tuesday, I wear it, and then Wednesday, my brother wear it. We a mix and match. Like yo man, let me switch that shirt with these jeans. Oh, cool. But at the North Side schools, they wasn't recognizing that. I mean, at least they didn't say that they recognized it. But when we got to South, oh man, hold up, bruh. Hold on, man. Your brother wore that yesterday, man. Like, nah, man, I don't know what you talking about. So that type of ridicule started making me skip school. You know what I mean? So that I could try to make more money so that I can have that fancy outfit to wear. And so I was like, after a while, I just grew so weary of doing wrong. But it didn't help that my stepdad was abusive mentally, physically, and emotionally. Like I played basketball all the way from elementary all the way up to high school. I got cut in my 11th grade year because the coach said I wasn't tall enough. But I didn't understand that, so that kind of put me more deeper into depression. Like my stepdad would come out after we would come out from the games, and I scored 12 points, you know what I mean? By halftime, I got 12 points. And he's giving everybody else high five. And then he come to me and he's like, how you missed that one shot? How you missed that layup? I'm like, hold on, man. I'm the high scorer. How can you be down at me? You know what I mean? So it's like I had to encourage myself. Man, to make it through what I call rough times. I say my childhood was rough times that made me stronger, man. And I believe that's why God put my grandma in my life, man, because she was not scared of this dude. She would come and get us, and she's about this tall, and he's like 6'1". And she'd come in and get us and say, he'd be like, they ain't going nowhere. She'd be like, I'm taking them with me. And I'll be so joyful. First we'd be listening in the background, like we'd see her coming, everybody like, Grandma here. Like, oh, she finna come get us, or we gonna ask her. Somebody asked her to take us with her. And she'd take us with her, man. So I believe that my grandma praying is what got me through, gave me the strength to make it through to where I am today. Because I made some bad decisions early out that led me down the wrong path. But, see, that's why I say that Christ brought me back. To get into what led me to Christ, I got 4 prison numbers. I got 5 kids. And all my kids, I always left in the front time frame of when they was 3 to 5 months. So this last time I got sentenced to 7 years. 2009, I got sentenced to 7 years. 2016 was my out date, December 27th. But I stand right here, right now, in 2013, sharing my testimony. Awesome. Because the transformation happened. I won my appeal, so I ended up doing 30 months of that time. And that's when the transformation happened. I say it was like a caterpillar going into a cocoon, and I came out a butterfly. But everybody always asks me, so you found God while you was in jail? You found God while you was in prison? I said, no. God been calling me. God been calling me. I just accepted what he was telling me to do. Right. Because the conviction started when I was out on the streets. I always had that conviction when I be doing wrong things. I would always have that conviction. And a lot of other people had that conviction because after they do something wrong and they done got caught and they sitting in jail, they'd be like, man, something told me not to do it. Something told me go over there and do that and do this.